Graag een enorm applaus voor Benny Golson.
Hello.
Well, Mr. Golson, welcome in the BIMHUIS. Is the BIMHUIS a place you look forward to, or is it like, okay, let's just do that one, we go to the other place?
I like it here.
Don't forget the microphone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I like this place. Mm-hmm.
You performed in also in the old BIMHUIS in the old days. Did you have time in those days to explore the city? And
When I played there, the old BIMHUIS,
Yeah.
I had hair.
So that made a difference.
That made a difference, yeah.
All right, now, very good that you're here. I brought some clips and some videos and everything and some pictures. And I have a picture here, maybe of a gentleman you might recognize. It's this man.
Oh. I couldn't blow my nose there. 15, yeah.
You were 15.
Yeah.
But so serious about playing the saxophone that you had this picture made of. Do you remember what was the situation here?
Yeah, I just wanted to photograph because in my room I had photographs of Coleman Hawkins, Don Byers.
Yeah.
So I put one of me.
It's a fake background, isn't it? Or
Yeah.
It's in the studio.
During that time, though, John Coltrane and I took, you don't have that, though. We took a picture at that same studio.
Oh, okay, no, I don't have it now.
I was 15 and he was 17, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And we both couldn't play so good.
And you look good. Actually, you had ambitions to become a concert pianist before.
Oh, yeah, when I was 9 years old, I started the piano. And I was so serious, I thought I wanted to be a concert pianist.
Yeah.
And I was practicing so hard. And when I turned 14, I went to see Lionel Hampton, and the saxophone player started to play.
Yeah.
And my dreams of the saxophone started to go down. And when I told my mother, I said, you know, I think I want to be a jazz musician. And she said, oh my God, you're going to be a dope addict.
Yeah. Yeah. and have you become a dope addict, by the way?
Never.
Never.
I was afraid. I was afraid I would like it too much and the music would go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need dope.
That's why you're still here. The saxophone player who played with Lionel Hampton. That
Arnett Cobb.
Arnett Cobb. You wanna watch a bit?
Oh, you have him? You're kidding.
Oh
my goodness. He's the reason that I play the saxophone.
we could watch it all night.
Oh, my goodness.
What makes him for you such a great saxophone player?
His sound, you know, he's the reason that I play the saxophone. Many years later, I saw him in France. I forget where we were. I can't. But anyway, I told him then, I said, you're the reason that I play the saxophone. And you know what happened? He almost cried.
Yeah.
He said, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arnett Cobb. Yeah.
There's another somebody from your past I found. Let's see if you recognize this man here.
Oh, my goodness.
Who is he? What does he mean to you?
I left Philadelphia with Bull Moose Jackson. See, there were so many of us there, and we were amateurs, and we became a little better than amateurs, and I wanted to go on the road. That means travel to Los Angeles, to Chicago, and with a jazz group. But nobody called me from the jazz area, but the rock and roll, Bull Moose Jackson came through, and he needed a saxophone player.
Right.
So I left town with Bull Moose Jackson. But the good thing about that, my hero, Tad Dameron, was playing piano. Right. Now, I thought that was a little strange because Tad Dameron was a jazz man. But what happened, Tad Dameron and Bull Moose Jackson grew up together in Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
So they were both in New York, and Tad wasn't working. So Bull Moose said, I need a piano player. Come on, and I know you're a jazz player, but you can play with me and make some money, and when you get ready to leave, you can leave.
Yeah.
And when I joined the band, my hero was there. And I'll tell you,
Was he your hero already?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, because I heard his recordings. And I was trying to write then, but I wasn't very good. And I learned so much from him. Mm-hmm. He got me started.
There he is, Tad Dameron.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
I picked that man's brain so much. It's a wonder he didn't have to have brain surgery. It was incredible. And I'd write something and he'd see it and he said, what is this? But I had to learn. Yeah. I learned a lot from him. That man, that's right, he got me started.
What is the secret of writing a song that stays? Like what he was so good at. So he told you things. He told you things you shouldn't do, or you.
Yes, those kinds of things. The harmony that he used, and how to use the piano. See, the piano is 3 different instruments. People think it's one instrument. It's got a bottom, a middle, and the top. Mm-hmm. And each one is different. The top part is a glassy sound, and the middle part is like the voice, and the bottom part is like the bass. Yeah. And it's the only instrument, there's no other instrument in the world that's like the piano. It covers the whole orchestra.
When you write, do you write at the piano or?
I do, I write. I try some things with the saxophone, but it's better because I was a piano student, mm-hmm. so I knew the piano pretty good. I just had to figure out what to do.
Yeah. But during after you met Dameron, you started writing and recording your tunes, and with the Jazz Messengers recorded a lot of your tunes, end of the 50s, like Killer Joe or Whisper Not and Blues March. What was the moment that you discovered, because now we all know their standards, okay, but for you, you wrote them, and then suddenly you must have discovered that people like to play them. How did this go about? You go to a jazz club and suddenly you hear your tune, or it's on the radio, or how does it go?
All that happens slowly. It doesn't happen at once. And when you compose a tune, when you sit down and write a song, you have no idea what's going to happen.
Mhm.
You might think it's fantastic, and it's nothing.
Yeah.
Or you might think it's nothing, and boom, it's big. But when you write a tune, the people tell you whether it's good or bad or
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, when I wrote Killer Joe, wow. From 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, I played these 2 chords. But in my mind, I'm thinking the melody. So my wife is there, so she, for 12 hours, she's hearing 2 chords. And when I finally had the melody together in my mind, I asked her, what does she think? And she's waiting 12 hours for me to ask her. And she said, it's no good. It will never make it. It's too monotonous. I hate it. But Art Farmer and I, we recorded it anyway. And then the disc jockey started to play it on the radio. The people started to buy the recordings. And when we played the clubs, the people, Killer Joe, Killer Joe.
Yeah.
And then the royalties started to come in. The money started to come. She bought 1 fur coat. She bought 2 fur coats. She bought 3 fur coats. And she loves Killer Joe.
Yeah. I understand. Well, when a song you wrote is becoming so popular by with other musicians, then you lose ownership in a way. It becomes something.
No, the publishing protects us, you know.
Oh, right.
No. Only once I had that problem with a song called Whisper Not. The fella said, no, I'm not going to pay you any royalties. And I said, okay. And I called my lawyer, my attorney, and that was the end of that.
Yeah. What I mean actually is more that if somebody else plays it, they make it their own. And maybe they play it in a way...
I hope so.
That is terrible, that you don't...
Oh, sometimes it's terrible.
Yeah.
But we have to take the terrible with the good. We can't control what they do. Mm-hmm. You write the song and they play it the way they feel it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's fantastic. And sometimes I say...
Yeah.
But that's a part of it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control what people do with your song.
Yeah. And the royalty still comes, so...
Yeah,
right.
But I don't have too many problems, though, not too many.
I'd like to talk about this end of the 50s, where you kind of, we all say, the jazz people all say, when Benny Golson took over the jazz messengers.
Say what?
The time when Benny Golson took over the jazz messengers.
Oh yes, 1958.
1958, and but there is something I've been dying to ask you for as long as I know this tune, Moanin', because there's this famous thing happening here in the tune. If we play it, here it is. So it's on this album. And I play a part of this, the moment where there's the end of the trumpet solo. Lee Morgan played.
What tune is this?
Moanin'?
That's not my tune.
No, it's not your tune, but I want to ask about what's happening here.
You want me to tell you what happened? It almost didn't happen. Would you like to hear the whole story about... Nobody knows this story.
Yeah?
Okay. When we played the job and we'd finish one song, before we played the next song, Bobby Timmons used to play bum ba da 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 da. That's all.
Uh-huh.
And he did it, and I start thinking, if he does that for 16 bars, if he comes up with another 8 bars, we have a song. So I told him, Bobby, I think it's a good idea. Why don't you write an 8-bar bridge? And he said to me, oh, this is nothing. It's just a little thing that I play. I said, no, I think I hear something, Bobby. So I called a rehearsal, repetition, and we went to the club, Nobody's at the club in the day. So I said, okay, the rest of us are going to sit down here, and you go to the piano and write a bridge, 8 bar. So about a half hour. And he says, okay, he says, I'll play it for you. And he played it, and I said, Bobby, it doesn't have the same thing as dun, da, dun, da, dun. It doesn't have the same spirit.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, you write it. I said, no, this has to be your song. I said, try again. So we went and sat down, and he was going to. And then he said, okay, here it is. And he thought it was no good. He said, and he played it. I said, that's it. I said, now, what are you going to call it? Do you have a name? He said, no, I don't have a name. I said, well, what do you think about when you hear that melody? He says, oh, I don't know. Maybe somebody moaning. I said, okay, call it moaning.
Right.
And we recorded it, and people loved it.
Yeah.
Moaning.
There's the moment that you take over the solo from Lee Morgan, that many jazz lovers, they know this. I play it. It's the end of...
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so this is on the 30th October of 1958.
Let me tell you about the way he ended it. What he played, da-da-da-da-da, that was the name of a song. It was called I Want a Big Fat Mama. That was a song.
Yeah.
And when he played it, I'm thinking, so I played the same thing. I want a big fat mama. Yeah, that was and we didn't plan that either.
So it happened in the recording in the studio.
Yeah, just at that moment, he thought, I want a big fat mama. And I played I Want a Big Fat Mama. Yeah.
But then 1 month later, you are in Brussels in 1958. So 1 month after you recorded the album. And this is a movie. You can hear it.
Big fat mama.
We'll listen to you more later, live. So, did you decide this, taking over the solos from each other, this is a nice way, and we keep doing it? Or was it a reason that you thought, okay, the audience wants to hear the album version, the version they know? But
people liked it, so we kept doing it.
Yeah.
We kept playing I Want a Big Fat Mama.
Yeah. At this moment, the album hadn't even been released yet, so you just recorded it.
But the idea, we liked the idea.
Yeah.
And I knew he was finished when he played I Want a Big Fat Mama. It was time for me to play I Want a Big Fat Mama.
Yeah, exactly. But what strikes me about those recordings that you made in this time, they're really, and especially for this era, everything is really, how to say, really neat, and really, it sounds really crafted, carefully crafted. So, did you have because you brought the other musicians in the band, and you wrote this, not Moanin, but other tunes like Blues March, etc. Did you have a conscious system that you thought, okay, we're going to rehearse really well and we're going to really think of the way we build the solos like this and that? Because Lee Morgan, he uses the same phrases he used in the Moanin recording, which he doesn't use in other tunes that much, but it's really, that solo is always a bit in this. Do you see what I mean, or do I make sense?
No, I didn't control the solos. The solos have to come from the person.
Yeah.
Just like we're talking now, I'm not controlling what you're saying. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I can't control what somebody else is going to think, but I control everything around it so that it had organization to it. Because when I joined Art Blakey, it was almost like a jam session.
Yeah.
There's no order or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was trying to bring some sort of order to it by establishing songs that the people might like, you know, like Blues March and Moan and things like that. But the solos were always up to the individual.
Yeah.
I just changed the surroundings. And that picture that you saw on the cover, the headshot of Art, that, I'll tell you where it came from. When we were putting the album together, a fan took that picture, and at that time we were getting ready to record for Blue Note Records. Now, I don't know why, but Blue Note listened to everything that I said. Everything that I said, they did. And I told them I wanted that picture on the cover that some fan took. And they put it on there.
Yeah.
And Art Blakey, we did a tune called Drum Thunder Suite. Art had been playing for years, but he never played the mallets. He only played the brushes and the sticks.
Yeah.
I said, it's time for you to do something with the mallets, you know, the soft things.
Stokjes met een bolletje eraan.
Yeah. And that's how that came about. I created it so he could play the mallets.
Right.
Because everybody heard him play the brushes and the sticks, but they didn't know what he could do with the mallets. And he had never done it. And that's how that came about. Things like that.
Yeah. And actually, the time, this was actually a really brief period that you played and recorded. It was quite soon after that you started your own band.
Yeah, I was with him a little over a year.
Yeah.
Not long.
Did you already at that time when you stopped and moved on with other things, did you already realize how popular you were actually?
Not really. It happens so slowly, you're really not aware of it sometimes until you start counting the money.
Yeah. But wouldn't you, if you would have known this, that you could have, that you could have had so much success with it, also playing and performing, would you have kept the band longer, you think?
Would I have been with him longer?
Yeah.
No, because I play the music not. Yes, I have to have the money, I have to live, but I play the music because of the music. And what made me want to go ahead was not the money, the music.
Yeah.
And the money came. Of course, I didn't refuse the money, but my intention was the music was the most important thing. Yeah. But you know, people probably think I'm some sort of a genius. Oh, he wrote this and he wrote that, but they only think I'm a genius because they never heard the terrible things that I wrote. Yeah, the Maharaja and the Blues. I'm finger popping and hip shaking. I mean, those things we don't want to. But I keep them in my piano bench so that my head doesn't get too big.
Okay, yeah.
They are dogs.
Well, there was a moment you decided that you wanted to stop playing the saxophone and you went into the movie business, composing.
Oh, yeah, I went through that too, yeah. In fact, I thought that was the end of my playing. I thought, well, maybe I'll just write from now on, you know. And
what made you? Did the writing for movies attract you, or did the playing live saxophone push you away?
The movies attracted me.
Yeah.
And my friend Quincy Jones and I lived in the same building. He was on the 6th floor, and I was on the 4th floor. And he went out to Hollywood before I did. And once he was there, he kept telling me, Benny, you need to come to Hollywood. And then there was a critic, Leonard Feather, and he moved out there, and he was saying, Benny, you need to come to Los Angeles. So I moved to Los Angeles. And Quincy, his, what do you call it, the person that calls him for the films, I forget what you call him.
Agent, or...
And like an agent.
Yeah.
He put me with the same agent, and I went to work at Universal Studios, and then later 20th Century Fox and Paramount, you know, and different things like that. But yeah, I was out there because of Quincy. And when I did my first recording at Universal, it was a thing called, with Robert Wagner, what was the name of that thing? I can't remember now. It Takes a Thief, that's what it was.
It Takes a Thief, yeah.
And my first recording, Quincy was there. That was great. And then, you know, you go on to other things, and I thought, you know, the saxophone, that was a thing of the past. And about 12 years or so, I got the itch to play the saxophone again. I never thought that that would happen. And I had been away so long, it took me about 2 years to get comfortable again. It was like, felt like I was getting over a stroke, you know. Yeah, I had to start all over.
Yeah.
Didn't have an embouchure, the thumb, the corn on my thumb was gone, everything was gone.
Yeah.
And it was almost like starting over. Yeah. So here I am today, an old man, and still playing the saxophone. You know, it's a good thing I wasn't a soccer player, because there are no 90-year-old soccer players.
Yeah, yeah. Good. Do you want to watch something from It Takes a Thief?
You're kidding me.
Yeah, yeah. So, because you wrote for MASH, the series, and a lot of people know MASH, a lot of people know, I think, Ironside. And the theme of Ironside is by Quincy Jones. It's now in a Kill Bill movie also, with the siren. But, so you didn't write a theme song, but you wrote music that was in the...
Internal music, yeah.
So here's It Takes a Thief, and if I'm correct, you composed this music.
Oh my...
Yeah.
How did you get this? Incredible.
Really scary series, you can see it.
Yeah, that was it.
So you never played on the soundtracks yourself? That was I was wondering.
I'm just waving my hand.
Yeah, yeah. All right, yeah, I wanted to show it because I like it. I like it a lot. So you're going to play for us within a couple of minutes. Do you have a set list always, or you...
No. I play according to what I feel and the way the audience reacts.
Yeah.
If I come up with a set list, maybe it's not what the audience feels, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to play what I feel.
Okay. And your horn, is that... It's an old Selma from the 60s, I think. Is that with you for a long time?
I have 3 of them. That's one of them. I have one in New York. This is the one in New York. And I have one in Los Angeles, and I have one in Europe.
All right. Yeah. And this is the New York saxophone?
That's the New York saxophone.
And is it from the days that you played with the jazz set, or with...
no, it's not that old.
It's not that old.
No.
Okay. And it has Benny Golson engraved in it. I can see it for me, so just that you know.
So if anybody steals it, they're going to have a hard time.
Yeah. Really smart. Okay. Mr. Golson, thank you so much for this conversation, and we're looking forward, I think all of us are looking forward to hearing you play. Benny Golson. Is that 5 minutes?